Welcome to another episode of the Leader on the Couch podcast. Remember, this is available on video and audio version, and it's where leadership meets psychology through real people, not just theory. In every episode, we sit down with leaders from around the world, diving deep into their challenges, lessons learned, and what truly makes them tick. Today, we have yet another amazing guest and a leader at so many levels. He combines so many facets. He's an amazing dad of two wonderful children. He's an activist for children's diabetes, an Ironman athlete participating in international competitions around the world. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it means he can run and swim and bike all at the same time. And he's also a leader in one of those big corporates. Yanni, a very, very warm welcome. Thank you for accepting to be on the couch. I left the corporate bit for last on purpose because we meet leaders all day. But I haven't had the opportunity to have in front of me someone who has all those qualities. So a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Maria. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here with you today. I'm really happy to have a discussion and share my story and try to motivate and inspire even one person. So I think even one by tomorrow starts doing something that he or she dreams, we have succeeded. So thank you again for this invitation.
I appreciate it. So let's start with your story because I'm personally fascinated by it anyway. If you can tell us a bit about you.
Yes. As you told, first of all, I'm a dad of two amazing children, George, who is 19, and Olga, she's 11. In my corporate life, I've been working in commercial, let's say, world. I'm working in Coca-Cola Hellenic for more than 21 years. So I have never worked elsewhere. All my career, it's in Hellenic. And I'm really, really proud of it. In my free time, as you said, I'm an athlete. So I do triathlon. Triathlon is a sport that combines three different sports: swimming, bike, and run. As you said, and everyone asks me one after the other. So it's yes, not in different days. So you start by swimming and you finish like a runner. I do Ironman triathlon. This means that in order to finish and cross the finish line, I have to swim 3.8 kilometers. Wow. Then I have to bike 180, and then to run a marathon. I can't even go there. And I remember you just came back from Amsterdam, right? Yes, I was last Sunday in a race in Amsterdam, an amazing city. However, for those that believe that I was always an athlete, the answer is no. Yeah. I have never been a sports person in my life.
Wow.
So I started doing, let's say, sports, running or walking, close to my 40s. Because for many years, and as I remember my life, I always struggled with my weight. So I was overweight. So I wasn't active. Didn't play basket or football in school, and although I have many times tried to change that, I have never succeeded. And I know that you asked me how this shift was made. It was one day in the park with my son that when he called me to run together, I realized that I couldn't. So I was out of breath, almost embarrassed of that. And this is where something inside me clicked. And that made me by the next day start walking and doing some more healthy diet and all these things that we call fitness and wellness, but not something about a triathlon. Triathlon came some years later when Olga, at the age of 9 months old, 9 months, diagnosed with diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Back then, she was the youngest child in Greece that was diagnosed. She was very young to diagnosed. So that was a shock for me, for my wife, for her brother, for all the family. Our life changed. So I had to find something in order to give me the power to, let's say, to address and to face this new reality. And in a discussion with my friend, we discussed about Ironman, and he told me that Ironman is not a sport. It's something that transforms you. And of course, it transforms you because you start like a swimmer and you finish like a runner, but the transformation is deeper, and it's happening deep in your mind, in your head. You completely transformed as a person, as mindset. So I have felt all this transformation, and almost the last, let's say, 7-8 years that I have done, I do the triathlon. I have been a completely different person in my life, in my corporate life, in everywhere. I think differently, I act differently, I feel differently, and of course I lead differently.
Yeah, it's really admirable. Absolutely admirable. And you are the founder also of Craving Borders, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Craving No Borders, I to be honest, I don't know how to call it. Sometimes I call it idea, sometimes I call it platform, mindset. But at the end of the day, I think it's a mindset. So Craving No Borders, which is actually what the word says, craving a life with no borders, but not the physical borders, but the ones that our mind puts in front of us. So was born from exactly the belief that limits that we have in our lives are mostly self-imposed. And I created this based on my personal experience, and so Craving No Borders exists to inspire people in order to challenge those, let's say, mental ceilings, mental barriers that they have. This is the first purpose. And the second one is to raise awareness about the challenges faced by the children and families living with type 1 diabetes. So through stories, through my personal stories in social media, through my races, through podcasts like the one that we have now, and conversation, I aim to build a more inclusive and understanding world and society. And especially for those who live in with, as we call them, invisible condition, because diabetes is an invisible condition. So the purpose is simple, to show people what's possible when you stop asking for permission and start rewriting your story or your next chapter in your life.
No, it's and for those who are listening or watching, I follow you on Instagram and on other platforms, but I've seen on Instagram you're very active and you have this size bite motivation things every day. So it's absolutely love those. So how, you're advocating for childhood diabetes. How has that shaped your sense of identity as a leader?
I would say that it gave me a purpose or a greater sense of purpose. So before this, for me, leadership was mainly about numbers, driving results, team performance, of course, growth. But now it's also about visibility, empathy, the voice of the team. And so advocating for childhood diabetes taught me to lead not just from the front, but from the heart. Yeah. So it made me more human, I would say, in the eyes of my team. It helped me create spaces where vulnerability isn't seen as weakness, but as a skill. So all this, it reminded me that leadership is a responsibility to serve, and not just to lead people or teams. So this is the main transformation and change that I did in myself of how I'm looking leadership.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you didn't just, go to the gym like most of us do. You're doing endurance sports. I mean, this is like marathon. It's just it's not like the everyday thing that all of us do. What have endurance sports taught you about the relationship between mental resilience and physical performance?
I would say one thing here, that I have realized that no matter how trained you are, and no matter how many hours you spend in training your body, at the end of the day is the mind that makes the difference, especially in endurance sport. And when we say endurance and Ironman, we talk about a race that lasts 11, 12, 13 hours, depending on the field that the race is. So I will say that the body follows the mind. So, of course, physical performance is important, but is very much influenced by the mental narratives that you have during the train. You can train perfectly, eat well, sleep well, do everything your coach say, still fall apart if your mindset has a different opinion. So mindset training is also part of the training that we do for the body. So even on days when the body is tired or underperforming, a strong mindset and a very nice thinking can carry you through. And I think it's very similar to leadership.
Yes.
So in leadership and in life, it's exactly the same. So success comes on how well you manage your thoughts, especially when the pressure of the external environment or the targets is very high.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to hear you say that, because very often we, especially in business, we tend to separate the thinking from the feeling, or the mind from the body, and it's all one. So I'm really glad you say that. Can you recall a moment during your Ironman training or competition where your mind had to override your body's limits, or vice versa? And what did you learn from that experience?
Look, Maria, I think I have two examples. So I remember a race last year in Hamburg. I was in almost in the middle of the bike section. So I had to bike 90 kilometers and then run the marathon when my legs were cramping. So every pedal for me was a nightmare. And that was the moment that I was thinking of retire the race. That was the moment also when my mind came up. I have trained a lot on positive self-talking. I have worked a lot on visualizing things. So I started visualizing how can I move on. I start thinking of my children waiting for me in the finish line. So the pain was there. However, my mind was stronger. On the other hand, I have another situation in the last Ironman race in Athens when I quit.
Okay.
So 10 kilometers before the finish line, my mind told me that, okay, this is it. From now on, your body will suffer. So I respect a lot my body. So
Absolutely.
I'm not fan of the mindset that, okay, we finish no matter what. No, we stop when the conditions are becoming dangerous for your body and for the future. So I also have, as we call it, DNF, did not finish. This is what
Okay.
the results are, is written after your name. However, I'm also proud of that because I think you need a lot of inner power to stop 10 kilometers before the finish line after 6 months of training and almost just before ending your race. But the body is where it's the only house that we have and we live. So we need to respect it as anything else.
Absolutely. Again, fascinating. Our body, gives us our symptoms, but we are masters at covering them up. So, yeah, that's an important one, an important lesson. So, how do you manage those internal narratives during moments of extreme physical exertion or pain? And what is the learning for leadership there?
Look, when I will be brutally honest with you. Every time I stand in front of the sea, just before we hear the gun sound, that the race, I have the same thought. What I'm doing here. And this is not very, that was the polite version because...
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, you know. However, when I enter the water, everything changes. So I'm trying to simplify things because if I start thinking that I have 226 kilometers to cover, because this is the distance, I will not do it. So I'm trying to zoom in. I don't think that I have to swim 3.8 kilometers, but I'm only watching and thinking the next buoy that is 150 meters away. And when I reach this point, I think the next one. I don't think that later I have to bike or run. So yes, this is actually the one thing that I always do. I cut everything in smaller pieces, so to be easier to handle it. And this is also happening in my everyday life, in work, in projects, in tasks. I'm trying to simplify, and if something that looks really hard and big, to cut it in small pieces and make it easier. So I focus on smaller parts of a bigger, let's say, task that I have to do.
Amazing. Yeah, and that stops you from getting overwhelmed. So they generally say that motivation fluctuates. So, and hence it's not reliable. So if we were to rely on motivation, we wouldn't be doing anything. And that discipline is more reliable. What do you believe about that?
I agree that motivation is emotional.
Okay.
However, I would say that motivation, it comes and goes. It's not always there waiting for you. On the other hand, I'm a believer of discipline, because discipline is a decision.
Okay.
So I think that it's the contract you sign with yourself on the days that you don't feel like showing up, or you don't feel of wake up in the morning, and you do it. And for me, discipline is about being rigid. It's about being consistent.
Yeah.
And then especially in triathlon, which is an endurance, let's say, sport and leadership, the real growth happens on days when motivation is absent.
Okay.
Discipline carries you through those moments. And I think this is the power and the skill that will drive you towards your target.
Yeah, makes sense.
At the end of the day, discipline is a choice.
Exactly.
It's on you if you will find or not excuses to do it, to do what you have to do, or not. So it's just on us.
Yes, exactly. And I guess there's also something around the feeling after you've done it. Always you say, oh, I'm glad I did it, even though you were not motivated in the beginning, maybe. Yeah.
Exactly.
How has your understanding of leadership evolved as you've pushed your body beyond those traditional limits?
I would say that pushing my physical limits, because of course many times I push my limits. It made me more humbled. So it made me see leadership less as authority, but more as influence and motivation.
Yeah.
I believe that leadership is not about control, it's about connection. And I have learned that people don't follow titles and authority, they follow the energy, they follow this chemistry, as we call it. They follow the beliefs, authenticity, and a purpose. So going beyond my physical limits taught me that real leadership starts when the comfort zone ends. So that's when people look to you, not for answers, because many times your team has the answers, but for your presence, for your support, for the ways that you motivated in difficult times.
Yeah. Yeah. So should I assume that you are leading in a different way after having experienced?
Completely different way. Completely.
Yeah.
I think I am now more inclusive.
Okay.
More empathetic. I'm trying to think like my team.
Yeah.
So, and this I would say, Maria, came for this pressure and this let's say vulnerability that these endurance sports created on me, because it's not easy. So this pressure made me more, let's say, sensitive, more inclusive, and this is the way that I have changed a lot.
I see. Okay, great. Amazing. What is something that you may have discovered about yourself, and obviously you're fine sharing in public, through sport or activism that surprised you or even changed you?
I would say that I discovered that courage isn't something loud. It's something quiet.
Wow.
So it often shows up when no one is clapping. I will say that all the growth and all the energy that you gain, and all the better, let's say, self that you become even in life or as an athlete, it comes on times that you are alone. My typical training on, let's say, Saturday, tomorrow, it's 3.5 hours of bike alone. So no one is there. I have to find my self-motivation in order not to stop under the heat, and then do also my running. So with all this, I realized that I'm much more resilient than I ever gave myself credit for. So I found some inner, let's say, skills and power that I have never realized. And also I was surprised by how people resonate with honesty, and I will say honest stories, and not the ones, not the polished ones, or not the stories that we are trying to make for ourselves. They know how honest we are, and when or not we are not honest, and that realization changed me a lot. It gave me the confidence to lead more authentic, and not by performing, but by authenticity.
Makes sense, yeah. And as we are approaching the end of this fascinating conversation, Yanni, do you have any advice, any pearls of wisdom that you would like to share with us?
I would say that talking as a person that changed my life at 40s, I would say there is no perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. And don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait to be perfect, because progress and growth starts the moment that you take the responsibility to rewrite your story. And this is exactly what I did. I realized that the book that I have written, it's not the one that I wanted to finish with this chapter. So I rewrote my story. So even the smallest step, if it's taken with intention, can change everything. So, and above all, remember that limits are only in our minds, and change is not easy, it's difficult. But even in these difficult moments, remember that we all have an Ironman that is sleeping inside us, and the only thing that we need to do is to wake him up.
That's beautiful, and beautifully said as well. Wow. It's really admirable, your journey, and personally I have massive respect and admiration for you and your work, and you know that, I hope. Thank you very, very much for sharing your story, and I can't wait to wake up that iron woman or man inside me. But I'm definitely motivated for the weekend. Thank you, Yanni, so much.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. It was a great honor for me to be today with you here. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Take care, Yanni. Bye.
Thank you.